You're here for one reason only. Y'all probably got a letter. Out of this, it was brought to our attention about 3 months ago. Surveyor working for one of the residents there said, hey, you might want to check out your corporation line from Mount Victory. And pointed out the plat map. Now that plat was set in 1883. So the first thing I did was go look at the plat map. Because anytime you do a plat map, if you ever amend it or change it, you have to notify, or you should cross-reference the plat. So if there's ever any court hearings or something wherever they did it, it would be at least annexed to, or you see a cross-reference on the plat, and then it'd take you to the document that you could read. There was none, which told me, okay, maybe they never changed this. That wasn't clearly the end of that. At that time, I spoke with the commissioners and said, we've got a sort of a problem here we need to resolve between the township and the village. And mainly it deals with the corporation on my victory. So I asked permission to hire an attorney. I hired Tom Seeley. The reason I hired Tom does a lot of real estate work. He also does title statements, title insurance. Additionally, if it's necessary, he can offer testimony if we have to go to court. So my instructions to Tom are quite simple. Search all the common pleas records, upstairs, any record you think relevant, commissioner records, anything, village records, looking for any lawsuit. Now, any lawsuit that would change this corporation line would have to entail the village of Mount Victory, or it'd have to entail, the township government. Tom did that, took him a couple months, got back to me. Not only did what I wanted him to do, but he also went over, I think, over and above board. He checked newspaper articles. He went into that to see if there was anything in our local newspapers that the age. Checked some codes and stuff. He found nothing. Now, what's that mean to me? Well, the only thing it means to me is that for years, somewhere, 74 of your ancestors in this area petitioned the commissioners, did all the right things. We actually studied all the law from 1883. I have a general code. This is not our higher revised code, but the general code, to see if they followed the procedure correctly. They did. They had attorneys representing 74 landowners that petitioned to form this corporation. It is, most of you have seen the maps, it's a sort of a perfect rectangle. Now there's one exception to that. I think recently the Elliott family did some annexations and they added property to the top. Right? So it's, that rectangle is what we know by law to be the village corporation lines. Now, why? For 74 people that went through the efforts of doing this and paid an attorney to do it, never tracked it, I have no idea. But after it was brought to our attention, we're on notice. So being on notice, we had to solve the problem. And it's clear to me that the boundary line or your corporation line is that perfect triangle which you've all seen in the map. That affects, we had searched everybody that lives inside the village. We did not get everybody noticed. Why? Because people are in it, there's nothing gonna change there. But there was about 6 property owners that did, that felt that they're outside, but they're actually inside. That being the case, and the fact that it's the corporation line, we are going to treat it accordingly. Henceforth, the purpose of this meeting today is to explain why we're doing it, how we found out about it, what we know to be the case, and that's pretty much it. I cannot go in and say change the corporation lines because that's the way it was. Sorry, that isn't the law, and it doesn't give you the power. Or the commissioners either. They're the ones that would have maybe the power. Now, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, but I wanted to have this public meeting because we have everybody here in one room at once. We have the auditor who's gonna have to obviously change some taxing on some of these 6 properties. I don't know if there's any township government people, because they're technically gonna lose some land, and the village is gonna gain some land. That's pretty much the whole point of this presentation, to explain why we're doing it. This surveyor is correct, so I can't find anything to contradict his findings. In fact, if anything, I've got evidence to support it. Anybody got any questions? Yeah,
My land has always, from my knowledge, been township address. I have my own septic tank, and I have my own well.
your question?
Can I keep that?
That's up to the village. That's why we've been needing to cross the letter, the village got this. I also shared all my evidence with the solicitor of the village, Mount Victor. That's up to the village. Once you're in the village, you're subject to their rules. They say, hey, you can have it. There you are.
My other
They say
question
you gotta
is,
hook up. There you are.
my other question is we went clear back to September, October. We have been asking to get our front 3 acres, which we knew was in city limits, but is only farmland, to be taken out of city limits.
You were represented by Luke Minnick?
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote a letter to Luke, someone to the village, someone to the council, and I assume he shared the letter with you. And-
He's been a lovely lawyer.
Yeah,
To
I'm
say
sure
the
how to
least.
take that, but what we pointed out to Luke is, Luke, I didn't even know you could succeed from the village. First of all, I had research, yeah, you can. And there are 3 different ways to do it, but the way Luke did it is one of the 3. Therefore, you failed at your procedure. It wasn't the fact that someone said no to you, or yes, it just said, hey, you gotta do it right.
Right.
And when you succeed, that affects your friends, because when you think about it, there's the voted debt levy on there, and when you pull out, there goes the tax base, there you go, you don't pay that levy maybe anymore. Guess who picks up the difference? Your neighbors. So you just increase, by pulling out, you're increasing your tax
We're gonna pull out
liability. No, wait,
2.83
let me
acres.
finish, you can speak when I'm done. So those are concerns why the law requires process, certain petitions be before people, meetings, issued before the people, and you have to give notice to certain people depending which procedure you go. So the idea is correct, you could possibly do it. Is it guaranteed? No. And did you do it right? No. So I hope that answers. I know that you were the one, or I knew there was one property that was trying to succeed or get out of the village.
So that still doesn't really answer my question when that was only gonna be 2.83 acres. So in 2.83 acres on taxes was not gonna be a whole lot to the village for everybody else to pay. I
So what's your point?
understand.
What's your
But
question?
you guys have also added in, not
What's
back
your
in
question?
1883.
I got
My
your
question is, we filed that paperwork twice.
Yeah, wrong twice. Okay, I got it.
Okay, so why haven't we been informed of this not being filed with
Who,
you?
who hired the attorney?
We didn't.
And who do we talk to? We talk to your
We
attorney.
have talked to him and he has not told us any of this information.
I kinda think you got a problem, but it isn't with us.
Yeah, you're not wrong, I do have a problem, that's why I said he's been a very lovely attorney. But
I
we went
just-
to meeting
I
after
can't
meeting
help
after
that now.
meeting.
All I can tell you is we've made it very clear, both to the township government, the villages, and into your council, shared everything we're pretty much sharing today with them. The fact, there's a communication problem between you and maybe your attorney.
There's also a communication problem between the village too, because we've been to multiple meetings and we never get any information from them either. Other than you have to go to your attorney.
Well, you've got an attorney, that's the point. Your
Yeah,
attorney
but we
said he
haven't,
represented
and we haven't
your
been given
attorney
any
said he
information.
represented your interest. So at that point, they will not talk to you personally because you got an attorney of record saying he represents your interest. Now, if you don't, then you need to do something about that relationship. But it doesn't change anything. The village isn't one that's got the concern here. We're notifying the village, just like we are the township governments, that, hey, we gotta honor what your ancestors did in 1883. We have no reason to deviate from their wishes.
I also asked at the last meeting that we went to if our land was involved in this issue right here, and we were told directly, no, it was not.
And what did your attorney tell you?
My attorney said it might be, and then that's when we went to the meeting, and then we were told by Mark Schumer that our land was not going to be involved in this issue.
Well,
So
I'm
we
informed
proceeded
that
with-
you are incorrect.
And I'll echo what Brad has said, that you are incorrect. Both of those statements are wrong. The last time you were in the meeting, actually 2 meetings ago, when you were there, I stated that your petition was filed incorrectly, you needed to talk to your
And
attorney
we
about
did.
it.
After that, we filed it again, because you
Incorrectly.
told us, okay, it might have been done incorrectly, however, you told us at that meeting that We were waiting and holding off to find out if our land was involved in this, and you told us that it was not. So
I did
we
not
went
tell you
ahead
that.
and had him file again. Yes, you did.
Well, it was assumed whether it's said or not, who cares? The point is, it is in, ma'am. I'm telling you right now, it is in. The statements made by anybody, whether they were made or not, doesn't matter. You are in whether you like it or not. Now, if you like to get out, you're on the right track with your attorney, but you gotta do it right. And that's not a guarantee either, because if you do all the right moves, they can still say no to you.
Can I ask a procedural question?
Mhm.
So this is advertised as a hearing. Is it a hearing that you're gonna have multiple hearings, or is this just a
No, this is
presentation?
one-time hearing.
This is a one-time
We have,
hearing.
at this point, we're putting you on notice and just trying to explain the problem. That at this point on, we're treating it the way the ancestors wanted it done. We have no reason to deviate.
So if you're just saying that you have the resolution that said it's going to be this rectangle of the lines.
I never said anything but we used
Well,
word
the map.
resolution.
Well, what is that titled, that paper? From the 1883.
They did a petition to,
A
I believe,
petition.
and the commissioners who involved, their ancestors. Yeah, they petitioned it, they had hearings, they did all the.
So that's what you're saying, they followed the petition, did all the things, but they didn't actually move it on further to make it officially the
Somewhere
municipal
along the
lines?
line- Somewhere along the line, the ball was dropped, and the people that paid to get and form this corporation didn't realize that they were never really in the corporation. Somebody somewhere dropped it. Now,
So-
who, I can't pinpoint, but it doesn't matter, it is the law, it is done, we see the mistake, and we're honoring it.
So so you're saying you, at this time, wanna go back and pick up the petition that was originally made in
No.
1883 to
I'm
make
not
the
picking up any
corporate,
petition.
well, you,
I'm
to,
honoring the corporation limits that was legally informed and created in 1883. We're
And-
not talking petition, we're talking about corporation. Petition is the mechanism to get the corporation limit.
so
We're
do you
past
have,
petitions.
but wouldn't that be done in the plat process? Do you have the corporation's line from the 1883?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
That's that. So, but a municipality is allowed to change its boundaries, correct? So even if
This
you,
had nothing to do with municipalities, these were freeholders, these are people that owned land and said, hey, we want to form a corporation. Therefore, to do it, they had to follow the requirements of the general code in 1883. They did. Hearings were held, they did. Notice was given, they were there. People signed off, had a council involved, commissioners were involved, the auditor of the town was involved.
Yeah.
It got done.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm
you
saying-
can argue about resolution, it's done.
Okay.
All we're saying at this meeting is, we're honoring it.
I know, but you have the municipality, the corporation lines, right? And you're going to set that as, this is now the official corporation lines. And moving forward, so let's say you go through whatever process you're gonna do that, then the municipality or the citizens are allowed to use those three avenues to either secede or annex into the municipality, just like normal. Like, it doesn't remove the ability of these property owners.
They have, if they wish to be out of it, there are procedures to do it.
Right.
Are they guaranteed? No. There are procedural steps, there's gotta be hearings, and then again, it comes down to someone's decision making.
Are you, what process are you going to use? So this is your informing everybody in this hearing, then what are the next steps to,
Well, probably, there will be no further steps. When we leave this meeting, the auditor's gonna treat those 6 properties like they're in the village of corporation of Mount Victory.
because you already have the survey, right? You already have, that's all
We have the
done.
information, we can do it.
Do you have to sign a paper to do that? I mean, do you
No.
have to sign off on it?
1883 gave us the right.
So really, it's just,
When they incorporated, that is the thing. Somewhere along the line, it didn't get done, we're correcting that what didn't get done.
so it's really just an auditor's administrative correction.
That's also the engineer's office will be different too. Their maps will be correlated to honor the plat map.
Right, so if you have property owners that are, the jagged line in there, did they go through proper procedure? Like, they would be able to ask and research if their property was changed throughout history to say.
Anybody has the right to hire a
Right.
surveyor, and if they wanna check their properties, that's fine, go for it. I mean,
But if
what-
they, but here's, I think, if you have a property, you're going back to 1883, but if you have a property owner that says, hey, we already succeeded from the corporation limit, we followed the rules, we did the things, is that not honored?
No, because no one succeeded. That's what we call title searches, that's why we searched the title, that's why I hired Tom Seeley. I wanted to know if any lawsuit had been brought to touch this corporation line since 1883 by the only people that you have to name certain parties in a lawsuit. One would be the Village of Mount Victory automatically, because they may gain or lose something. The other one would be the town. Neither one were ever mentioned in a lawsuit.
Right.
Nothing has ever been done.
How, you know, if the jagged line, the orange line is what everybody's been operating under for whoever knows how long, they've been operating under that this is a municipality line. How did that happen? How did it get all jagged
Why
if
don't you tell me? I don't know the answer to your question. Tell me. I don't know. What we do know is we did the search when it was brought to our attention, found out, hey, it is wrong. Therefore, government has a duty to correct it's wrong, and
Yeah.
we did.
Why wouldn't you go back? I mean, what is preventing you from saying, we don't have the record, we don't have the history of these things, this is how the corporation line has been operating for X number of years,
Because we have no
and,
authority to ignore what the ancestors did under the proper law. We have no law authority that says, hey, just ignore the law and apply it the way it's been done mistakenly since 18.
I guess I don't know where the error is. I mean, if it's been
The error
ever,
is, if you look compared to maps, you don't need a rocket scientist to tell you, rectangles like this, and a jagged line like this. The jagged line system is not correct. The rectangle is. And therefore, we're going back to that, yeah.
Basically, what it comes down to in 1883, I'm trying to answer a question, is the Virginia Military Survey is what plays a big factor in this. And it was 12179, and that is the rectangle that you're talking about. And when they surveyed all this in 1883 and put the petition in, as the paper here shows, it included all of the Virginia Military Survey. And that's the only thing we have. We got nothing after that changed anything. And that's the problem. There's no change.
But wouldn't-
Somebody might have changed it with a handshake, but it never got recorded in a proper fashion.
yeah, but how does it get changed? That's what I'm saying, is how did it
We've
get
already
changed
told
in
you
the
that
tax
twice.
map?
We don't know. Why did it get changed? We don't know. Third time, we don't know. Fourth time, we don't know. So you can ask it 5 more times, but we're not gonna be able to answer your question. We don't know. What we do know is it's not being what it was law applied, meaning here's the corporation limit, and we're not following it. Therefore, we're on notice as government to correct it, to put back what the ancestors did legally and put back the corporation line the way it is. Does that mean everybody's stuck? No. We've already talked about if they want to hire counsel or whatever and initiate one of those processes, they have the right to try to succeed if they wish and get out. But it isn't an automatic. You have to go through certain due process steps. It's set by state law.
Huh.
It's called the law. Yeah. Yes.
Who was the actual surveyor that found it?
Can't think of the name of the outfit there. One of the big boundary war too.
Yeah.
Lee's. Was it Lee?
Leeds or
Lee
Fox?
out of Bell
Who?
Fountain?
Or Fox, or was it?
Fox.
Fox was.
Fox. Now, Mr. Fox.
Fox,
Oh,
Finley?
it's Fox Survey. I think they're out of, Beirut, or maybe in that area. But, they know Mr. Fox is retired, so his successor has done this. Actually, because of his survey, this is the second time that, he's brought attention to the county that we've had some issues with our boundary lines. We had a problem with Marion County and Hardin, where somewhere we weren't the right property line, boundary, so we got that corrected. We had to go to court. Hardin County had to bring suit against Marion County, based on the fact the surveyor pointed this out to us. So then we double checked his work. Yeah, he's right. So we corrected it. Now, this is the second time that he's found something which to me speaks volumes for his work. He does good work. and, therefore, we don't necessarily took his word for it, so we did check his work out, and yeah, he's right. So that put out some of us, made us do what we had to do.
So basically, any of these surveys that are outside of that boundary now got changed somewhere, and they changed landowners somewhere during the
That's
time.
the $64 question, everybody wants to know.
No, this is my question.
What surveyor,
That's
I don't
not-
know.
No, that's not my question. So, as land changed, and one of these that got taken out, as landowners changed, who's the people that did the research? The title people, are those the people that didn't do their job? So that's who you'd have to go back on if you own one of them properties?
I have no idea. I'm not here to give out free legal advice, so if you want to know,
Are
hire
you
an
able to
attorney, do
answer
it.
that?
But not as legal advice, what if you were one of the homeowners, what would be your first step?
Hire an attorney.
And you hire an attorney that's not qualified?
That's, or like, I can see this, you have the same thing with doctors, sometimes you don't like a doctor, what do? You change doctors.
Yeah.
There are good doctors or bad doctors.
Are you able to talk about the tax map? Are you able to, tax map, were you able to speak upon how that
Look,
process
all
works?
purpose today was to tell you that we recognize what your ancestors did, and we're correcting it to bring what we should be back into the fold, what is legally been done. I didn't say you'd like it, but I did, that's why we got the hearing. Our whole purpose of this hearing was to give you information that you can hand to anybody you wish, and to explain that from henceforth out, we're gonna honor what our ancestors did. So really, it's only gonna affect about 6 properties that I know.
But it affects me the
But the
most.
Well,
rest of them that
okay.
are already
Hold
in,
on.
nothing will change with them.
What is the effective date?
1883.
I mean, when does this start?
As soon as we can get it done. I think Mike's already probably got working on it. We're waiting on the tax map.
We gotta start first, Brad, and our plan is like first of next week.
All right, so our goal is this spring, let's say month of May, we want to get it handled.
Can I ask another question? So I see this as being an error that you're correcting, right? You have one homeowner that.
Somebody made an error,
Yeah,
yes.
and a homeowner who wants to go through the process to succeed. And what I think I hear you saying is that the homeowner's not able to do that until the corporation lines are put back to original, and then she will have.
I did not say anything to the light. What I said is, they have a certain way to succeed out. They did try, they did it wrong. I didn't say anything about anything else that you're
Right.
putting words out there.
But if she
So
already.
this is what I actually say, not what you want me to say. I told her she
But-
has remedies.
Yeah, but if she filed paperwork that was incorrect because she didn't actually know where the corporation line is,
That wasn't the reason it was incorrect.
so then she can move.
Her attorney knows why it was incorrect. We put it in writing.
But none of
what was
this,
wrong.
none of this stops her from her proceeding. It's
Pardon?
just, that none of this stops her from pursuing what she wants. It's
Yeah,
just,
if-
it's just a fix.
It's like regroup, repunt, circle, and kick again. Again, if you got hired wrong attorney, you don't like it, get a new attorney. If you did procedure wrong, do it right. It doesn't, again, what I'm trying to tell you, that is not a guarantee, though, there's still.
Right, but it would
you
be
still
up to
have that
council.
hearing, There still has to be notice, and people have that right.
Because it's not just 2.83 acres now
Right.
it's my whole almost 19-acre lot. That
Right.
I would need to try to get petitioned out.
Which would then be, yeah.
So instead of it being 2.83 acres, it's now my almost 19
But
acres.
even if Mount Victory would have let her annex that almost 3 acres, that would all be undone anyway with this process, right?
No, just
No,
my back
3
acres.
acres would have stayed
Yeah,
out.
my 3 acres would have been fine, but then my back,
Okay.
15
my
would have
back
been bad.
15 would have been screwed.
So really finding out now gives you a better to get the whole thing.
There's a decision you have to make. I mean,
And
you
it-
got options. Now, I'm not saying they're automatic guaranteed options, but you got options.
Yeah, but it would be back to the Mount Victory Council. So after
Well,
this,
it's
it goes
gonna be-
back.
The way I look at those laws, neighbors are gonna be involved with that decision, village will be involved in that decision, so is the township. Because you have to give notice to certain people, and they all have a say in it, and they all have a different concern. Some may have no concern.
Well, by my calculations, they're gaining a lot more than the 18 or 19 acres that I just
I don't know, I
had
don't
mine out. So
know.
they're still getting more money regardless if I do
Right.
succeed in getting mine,
Who's they? Are you-
not victory, for taxes. Because there's a lot more in here than 19 acres that's being added back into Mount Victory.
And that's something council, that, you know, that would be able to do your case on that point. Huh,
So it really wouldn't be adding to their taxes at all because they're getting way more than 19 acres added back into their
I'm not here to
village.
answer your questions, I'm here to inform you what we're doing. If you want advice, what that really means to you and your family and your property, the thing called a lawyer is what you need to see. Just like you go to a dentist for a tooth problem, you go to a lawyer for a legal
Okay, but
problem.
I was just reiterating what you said.
You want us to
on-
confirm what you said, and I'm not gonna confirm because I'm not your lawyer. So you can ask me 25 times, and I'll say the same thing, I'm not gonna answer your question, I'm not your lawyer. You
I
need
don't
to
think
get
she
legal
wanted
advice.
you to confirm, I think she was just trying to reiterate and
I'm not gonna
understand.
agree to that.
No,
I was
what
asking
you
you
just
to.
said, she was trying to make sure.
She made an opinion statement saying she's this lot more than 19, I don't know, I haven't sat down and looked at your property, yours particularly.
I have 19 acres.
So what, I
Just
don't
by
know.
looking at this paper, there's a lot more than 19 acres being added into
All right.
Mount Victory is what I'm saying.
Good, you just said it. What's your next question? You don't, again, nothing's gonna change, I'm just telling you, all we're doing is we realize the government somewhere on whose behalf did something wrong, we're correcting it, which is what we have a duty to do. Charlie, you got anything? Yeah, I know you got real shit over there. All right. Mike, anything? I know, well, as your surveyor, I think it was working for you. It doesn't change, anybody that's annexed outside what you thought with the corporation doesn't change anything there. So actually, what we actually have, as you see on the map, is a perfect rectangle plus that piece on the north that you guys, the Elliott family annexed in. That doesn't affect that annexation.
so you're at, because you have records of that northern annexation, that's gonna be honored?
Yes.
What if you have records of the other ones?
What?
You don't have any other,
They're done.
and you don't have any, so what you're saying is you don't have anybody who seceded, and you have the one
The only
annexation.
Dealt with the boundary line that's outside that we could find a record from the original 1803 is the current one the Elliott family did on the
Right.
north side of the boundary.
So it really comes back to a tax
That
map.
covers the well
issue.
field for the village of Mount Victory.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know.
That is what is in that area,
Yeah,
is
it
the
might
well
be,
field for the village.
I'm not, probably is, I'm not disputing it, I'm just saying, we noted that, we picked it up, and it was, we.
And you don't have to have any paperwork to, for the tax, to change the tax map?
You can't find when or why.
No, like to,
Okay, question.
like you have to give Mike
If
something.
something is found
Yeah, anytime something transfers, it starts.
that disputes this, it could be brought back, and that's part of law, correct?
Yeah.
So it's still not that you have to stop researching, there may see something come up,
Right.
so it's, and there may not be.
Yeah, well, if we're wrong, we're right, go ahead.
Yeah.
But there are remedies and rapid ways to correct it. But that's why I wanted a title search done, because I wanted to check if we missed something, or maybe somebody just forgot to cross-reference it to the plat map. Well, they didn't, because there was never any action ever to amend after the 1883. No one ever amended the corporation. With the exception of the Elliots, who did that in the last, 5-7 years? That annexation.
About 20 years ago.
20 years. That's the only time it's ever been played on record in a court of law. And that's the only one we can count on, is a court of law, so.
What is the 1883 from? Is that a
And there
tax
was
map?
some
No, is
area
it a
brought
tax
back
map?
into the village that was out of it when they built the new school.
I just don't understand that part.
Board of Education.
Because
Elliott's actually annexed, I think,
if
on
it's a
that
petition,
one big,
but yet they
where the
don't
school
have
is.
a tax map to
Frankly,
go with
if they
it.
known about the
Or they
1883
don't have
corporation line,
the-
they wouldn't have had to
back then.
Yeah.
But, yeah, those are the two changes that I can see over the last 60 years.
You're right. I don't have anything else to tell you, I mean, this is why we're doing it. This is, we put out everything in terms of our research right in front of you. There it is. I mean,
How long, like you said, this spring, did you get a date on when it'll be final so that you have that for your records?
We don't, this is all we got. And it doesn't have anything about dates except for today's hearing date.
Will she have to have numbers from the tax map? Or, I don't know. I guess she would do a survey or something. Okay. It's okay.
Anybody else got any questions? Well, I think this concludes the meeting of, and again, if anybody, finds that we're incorrect, there are remedies, we're willing to sit down. We wanna do it right. We're not here to do it wrong, but we gotta honor what our ancestors did. And I can't point the fault at anybody, because I don't know who did it, or how it got messed.
It's not that you didn't try.
Well, we looked, but
Yeah.
those are, there's nothing of public record, or newspapers, or articles, commissioner journals, all the records that we did, our court records.
Did you have the old tax
It
maps?
took some time.
Can't you
It
see
wasn't just
when
over.
it changed
probably
from one
spent
tax
2 or
map
3
to
months
another tax map?
doing it. I couldn't set this meeting until I had that information. Even though we've known about the problem for a couple of months, until I had that information, I wanted to know where we were. Did we miss something? All right, thank you, folks.